Good evening, one and all. Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2022. Commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, Nation Celebrate. "76 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are commemorating June 24th as International Day of Women in Diplomacy. Women have participated in diplomacy for centuries, yet their contributions have often been overlooked. Women and girls represent half of the world's population and therefore also half of its potential. Women bring immense benefits to diplomacy. Their leadership styles, expertise, and priorities broaden the scope of issues under consideration and quality of outcomes. Research shows that when women serve in cabinets and parliaments, they pass laws and policy that are better for ordinary people. The environment and social cohesion, advancing measures to increase women's participation in peace and political process is vital to achieving women's de facto equality in the context of enriched discrimination. When women are represented in legislative bodies, it enhances the effectiveness of governance and ensures that a wider range of perspective and experiences are considered in decision-making process. This inclusivity not only reflects the diversity of the population, but also leads to better informed policies that address the needs of all citizens. However, unfortunately, reality is that violence against women in politics remains a significant issue that hinders progress towards gender equality. Such violence not only violates the fundamental human rights of women, but also poses a serious threat to their participation in the political process. It creates a hostile environment that deters women from entering into politics or voicing their opinions, ultimately undermining their ability to contribute fully to society. Women have been playing a crucial role in the United Nations since the drafting and signing of the United Nations Charter in 1945. The UN General Assembly, UNGA, is the world's largest yearly meeting of the world leaders, while the UNGA has been setting for the several historic moments of gender equality. Much has yet to be achieved regarding women's representation and participation. Just 4 women have been selected and elected President of the UN General Assembly in its 77 years. The 15-member UN Security Council has primary responsibility for the maintenance of international peace and security, while women currently represent slightly over a third of this Security Council members, far higher than the average. It is still far from enough. So explore the participation of women of the security at the Security Council. Inclusive governance can result in policies that create positive change over the long term. Women, as well as we all know, are realists, but they are also realists who, while they keep their feet on the ground, also keep their eyes on far horizons. Global norms and standards play a role in establishing the international community or the benchmarks for the international community to abide by and for countries to implement. When we look at the background, historically, diplomacy has been the preserve of men. It's time to recognize and celebrate the ways in which women are breaking barriers and making a difference in the field of diplomacy. As of 2014, 143 countries guarantee equality between men and women in their constitutions. Another 52 countries have yet to make this important commitment, advocating for increased representation of women in key decision-making positions will greatly shape and implement multilateral agendas. Between 1992 and 2019, women represented 13% of negotiations, 6% of mediators, and 6% of signatories in peace process worldwide. Gender equality and empowerment of all women and girls will also make a crucial contribution to progress across all the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, and targets. The systematic mainstreaming of the gender perspective is the implementation of 2030 agenda is crucial, especially since SDG 5 calls for the women's equal participation in decision making. All the UNGA's 76th session at the session, the General Assembly has consensus declared the 24th of the June each year to be International Day of Women in Diplomacy by the Resolution 76 by 269. The Assembly invited all member states, United Nations organizations, non-governmental groups, academic institutions, and associations of women diplomats where they exist to observe the day in a manner that each considers most appropriate, including through education and public awareness raising. There are 31 countries where 34 women serve as heads of the state and of government as of January 2020. Of the 5 United Nations-led or co-led peace process. In 2021, 2 were led by women mediators, and all 5 consulted with civil society were provided with gender expertise. In 2022, the Security Council held its first ever formal meeting focusing on reprisals against women participating in peace and security process. In multilateral disarmament forums, wide gaps persist in UN's participation and women remain grossly underrepresented. Many weapons related fields, including technical arms control, only 12% of ministers of defense globally are women. Women who shaped the Universal Declaration, drafted as a common standard for the achievement for all peoples and nations, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, UDHR, for the first time in human history, spells out the basic civil, political, economic, social, and cultural rights that all human beings, men and women alike, should enjoy. Declaration is a milestone document rich in the history of human rights, drafted by representatives by different legal and cultural backgrounds from all regions of the world. Women were key contributors who played essential parts in shaping the document. The power of women peace builders, women inclusion in peace building process is essential for long-term success. This is proven. Gender equal participation contributes to longer and lasting peace after conflict. Susan Sabit, 32, is an accomplished lawyer and advocate for women's participation in governance and leadership. For decades, her home country of South Sudan has been overwhelmed by conflict because of the timeless advocacy of leaders like Sabit. South Sudanese peace process engaged a coalition of 40 women's organizations in peace talks, leading to the inclusion of gender responsive provisions in the agreement. This week is also commemorated as Insect Week in UK from June 24 to 30. Insect Week is observed every year in the last full week of June. This year it takes place from June 24 to 30. It is one of a kind event for those who are fascinated by insects and entomology. Hundreds of events take place across the United Kingdom for a week, giving people the opportunity to learn about insects, compete in various competitors, and meet experts in the field. So if you even have a mild interest in insects, this week should be a lot of fun for you. The green slime was the first sign of life on the planet. Then came the dinosaurs, who went extinct, and then came the regular-sized mammals, who eventually gave way to man. Have you ever wondered what happened before dinosaurs? There's a whole chain of events missing between the green slime and dinosaurs. Let us remind you that insects existed long before dinosaurs. Since prehistoric times, insects have ruled the earth. They are one of a kind in many ways. Their lack of backbone renders them spineless, but they muster the courage and strength to mess with humans. Some of them eat up the furniture, ruin the clothes, eat up entire crops, and store a deadly poison lethal, enough to kill humans in their bodies. The more we stifle these pets, the more deadly they become. So if someone asks you why you are interested in insects, you can always say, it's always better to know about your adversary. Aside from the amusing aspects, insects have coexisted with and evolved alongside all other animal groups. The presence may annoy us at times, but remember that insects have taught us a lot. Entomologists are people who are fascinated by insects and their various types, lives, and characteristics, and entomology is the study of insects. Because entomologists and ecologists have made significant contributions to this field, the Royal Entomological Society has decided to hold a week-long appreciation drive for them. The Prince of Wales, for example, has spoken out in support of celebration. There are approximately 1 million insect species that have been discovered. Scientists estimate that there are approximately 10 million species in total. Mosquitoes have killed more people than any insect on the planet. So there may be more venomous insects out there, but mosquitoes have the highest population and is the most deadly insect, being the highest killing insect, especially with respect to of human population. So the Montreal Insectarium is the world's largest insect museum. You can visit. Or you can go to your local insect museum if you have one to learn about various types of insects that have existed and continue to exist around the world. You never know what wonders you may uncover. If you have ever the slightest interest in insects, there will be high-profile entomologists giving lectures this week. Attend one of them and broaden your horizons. So if you work at a university, you can host a seminar where you invite a renowned expert in a field to speak about insects and entomology. You can also give them a certificate of appreciation for their efforts after the seminar. So like this, online events keep happening. You can join and gain insights. In fact, this webinar series provides a wonderful opportunity for everyone, no matter which profession you are, because it's there every day, and every day there is one or other day which is related to one or other discipline, study, course. So you have ample of opportunities where you can share your knowledge. Insects, believe it or not, have an exoskeleton that allows them to lift objects 20 times their own weight. Spiders are not insects. They have different characteristics than insects, despite sharing the same ancestors. Some insects can walk on water, has the ability to walk on water. Keep guessing which are those. If you are struck with some, you can put in chat box. Insects do not have blood vessels. They use a completely different circulatory system to transport blood from one part to the rest of the body. Not all insects are bugs. Bugs belong to a distinct group within the mega insect kingdom that distinguishes them from other insects. So know such things about insects by reading more about it, doing research on it. And they are an essential part of nature. It is important to note that insects and all bugs can live without humans, but once insects become extinct, all humans will become extinct within 50 years. That's why we all are saying in the next 100 years, humans also will become extinct. Because why? Most of the species are becoming extinct, which is affecting the ecosystem, biodiversity, and environment of the planet. And the food cycle and various cycles are drastically being affected beyond the restoration. So that's why we are forgetting, or somewhere we are neglecting, that we all are dependent on them. But unfortunately, we ourselves are destroying them and we are digging our own grave. And in the next century, by the end of the century, or by next century, there is a serious threat for humans and even for human extinction. This means that the natural world that nurtures us will continue to exist and thrive, but we will not be able to exist without it. And all of the changes we are bringing to the planet are harming it. And if we do not change our ways, we will perish soon. That's why even experts are saying, relax, come on, when you will wake up after you are lost. See, there is no need of, we have not even read the Vedas completely. And we are publishing so much of trash every day. And so much of things we are doing, cutting paper, cutting down the trees and, making it into paper and writing, publishing all the trash. And we are the only notorious criminals who destroy the trees and forests and same on the same trees, paper which is made of trees, we are writing save environment, save trees, do not cut trees. Just imagine what kind of people we are, what kind of creatures we are. Right? So this all should go on. We should, as the demand is growing, there is a great demand to go online also, e-mode, because reducing the usage of paper. We need to start using water and recycle it and dispose it. See, for toilet paper, in countries where they use toilet paper instead of water, do you know how much of toilet paper is used? We also did commemoration, toilet paper day, right? We have seen on the day how many billions of trees are cut to make toilet paper, and which is sent across the world. And across the world, how many people are consuming? Daily, some millions of papers are being consumed for various purposes. So this is all, adding. And when there is last tree left, that's all gone case. Imagine every person need a tree, and that human to tree, not just human, but every species needs a tree or a plant. Now looking at that, we are drastically reducing the living being to even trees are also living beings. For that matter, just take human beings. Human beings to trees population is also drastically reducing. That is why, the humans doesn't mean just humans as well as human activities. So the kind of impact created by the humans as well as human activities, the trees are also becoming less. Oceans are also getting polluted. So the less carbon consumption, so the more carbon emissions in the atmosphere, in the air, and other gas emissions, and that is leading to slow death of all species. And it is also drastically affecting some species for great extinction. So insects have influenced us in varieties of ways, from carrying many times more weight of having an exoskeleton to creating remarkable habitable colonies. These magnificent creatures, while sometimes dangerous, play a larger role in the ecosystem, and thus it's important as water and air. we will be able to learn more about their impact as we learn more about. So imagine if Ant-Man hadn't returned from the quantum realm to save the Avengers. Hope you all saw the movie. And used time travel to undo what Thanos had done in the past. Thanos snapped, wiping out half of the life. We love this brilliant character, right? Now, who is going to save us? When God also will not be able to save us because God, which has created nature, environment, planet, He has given. But I think it's going to be a great mistake that He also created human beings, which has become a deterrent to the entire planet, to all the species, causing a threat like a weed in the farm. We human beings are also becoming weeds on the planet, which are destroying the planet. Now, will we take that name along with us, or we will realize what we are doing and we'll try to change ourselves so that we live in peace and harmony with the planet environment? Today is also commemorated as Upcycling Day in US on June 24th as the international celebration of repurposing old items and upcycling them so that they are not wasted. So, upcycling is a process of repurposing old recyclable items made of metal, glass, or wood into something new, thus giving the material a new lease on life. There are probably dozens of hundreds of items in your house that can be upcycled. So why not take advantage of this day to do so? Old is gold and gold never goes out of style. So you can turn, plastic bottles after using them, you can turn into some reusable materials. Like you can make it a holder, or you can fill it up with mud and grow some plants, or you can use it to store as a container instead of buying new containers. Like that, in many ways, you can use it, or you can, build some by recycling it. You can recycle, or you can use the same to construct houses and so on. So there are probably dozens of hundreds of items in your house. Maybe check out. So upcycling was coined by 1994 by two German engineers, William McDough and Michael Braungart, to describe the remodification and reengineering of old items so that they can be used and thus given a second life. The idea of recycling was already in place with scrap material, glass, and paper being recycled. What makes upcycling and recycling so different? Recycling is a process of destroying waste and repurposing it to make something new from it, like scrap metal is melted, processed, and then used to make new item. Upcycling is a unique in that it uses waste in a current state to create something new, such as flower vase made from an empty bottle of anything. It may be water or any liquid or any beverage. The benefit of upcycling is that you can give a raw material a second life without spending a lot of money on recycling. And you can also meet the current need with what you can make. Since the term upcycling was coined, the word has spread. The people have begun to use their waste in novel ways. The biggest trend was noticed in 2002 when it was finally decided to celebrate upcycling as a public awareness initiative to encourage the conservation of metal, glass, paper, and anything else that can be reused. Soon after, many other businesses followed suit with the rise of social media. A slew of new websites such as YouTube popped up offering ideas for repurposing common scrap. Since then, the day has been observed as a day to look for the items that can be upcycled into useful items while having fun, being creative, and conserving precious raw materials. The recycling process begins in 1690, and linen and cotton rags are the first items to be recycled, introducing the concept of recycle to the world. So, upcycling is the modification of scrap into something useful while retaining the original state of the scrap. In other words, giving a second life to the scrap at your home is called upcycling. Upcycling is less expensive than recycling. Recycling is a comprehensive process in which substance goes through a series of steps to return to its natural state before being repurposed. So, upcycling is the process of twisting, turning, redecorating, or polishing waste for a good cause. So, make a list of reusable scraps. Begin upcycling. Look for new ideas on the internet, even if you don't need to scrap. It can be used to make some fancy homemade decoration pieces. Brightside and 5 Minute Craft are the channels on YouTube where you can look some of the best ideas for using scrap and making something useful out of it. So make a video of it, whatever you make and how you make it. Remember to record it and share it on social and online media. Don't forget to use the hashtag upcycling day so that more people can make use of it. According to the survey, 21% of the Americans upcycle the majority of things that can be upcycled, such as clothes, boxes, and glass. Every year, approximately 17 million tons of textile waste are produced in the United States alone. Recycling is expensive as recycling was never cheap. It would simply save items that could be reused rather than thrown away. When you have nothing but scrap in front of you, it takes all of your mental creativity to come up with something new. If you succeed, it shows that you have a sharp mind. By reusing 1 pound of old clothes, we can avoid the production of 3 to 4 pounds of carbon dioxide gases. We cannot afford to use up all the resources and leave nothing for future generations because the earth has limited resources. Upcycling allows us to use those limited resources wisely and sustainably while conserving valuable raw materials. You have probably seen the survival mode TV shows and movies where people scavenge for whatever they can to stay alive, right? Consider yourself in a similar situation where you have scrap from your home and must turn it into something useful. You have materials, you have brain, and you are creative. Enjoy. Tony Stark built an ark created out of scrap in Afghan cave, believe it or not. Forget about being a billionaire, a playboy, a genius, a philanthropist. He was essentially a mechanic who made things out of whatever he could get his hands on. We are confident that you too can turn scrap into something useful and valuable. Today is also commemorated as Swim a Lap Day in US. Is observed on June 24th each year, and its ultimate antidote to the classic summer conundrum. So, to the ones for which this may not apply, it's still a day for you, since swimming or just floating is fun for everyone. Since humans are not yet Since humans are not able to fly, swimming is the next best thing. Just think back to the last time you went into the pool or any water body and felt that weightless feeling of the water just carrying you. It That trip down memory lane is not convincing enough. Perhaps the thought of staying cool without having to use up extra electricity will appeal to you more. Whatever your reasons for taking a dip, it's a great way to beat the heat and get some exercise in, and all while having a splashing good time, especially with those you love. Today is also commemorated as National Relationship Equity Day in US on June 24th every year. This day seeks to address relationship issues, especially so this day aims to spell out the importance of suspension of the popular gender role phenomenon and adopting more welcoming, albeit unpopular gender equality concept. The day is also about striking a balance between relationship rules and freedom to exercise the individual skills of each couple to improve their relationship and their personal lives without restrictions. Equity strikes a balance and keeps couples happy and fulfilled. A relationship in which partners are allowed and encouraged to do what they are more passionate. If the relationship is based on equality, then the relationship should be split 50 by 50 financially. But however, if it is based on equity, then no. This is because couples' incomes might not necessarily be the same. Make a resolution, discuss the concept with your partner, and advise other couples too. Studies have revealed that love and cocaine have similar effects on people, but that doesn't mean you have to consume cocaine. Simply gazing at a picture of your soulmate elevates pain and worries. So pictures can perform love magic. It reduces the risk of early death. The risk of early death is reduced by 50%. The risk of early death is reduced by 50% when one spends time with loved ones. Couples who have too many similarities rarely last in a relationship. A little difference is healthy. It allows for freedom in relationships, it strikes responsible balance in relationships, and it promotes gender equality, the long sought after gender equality. It even goes an extra mile to help in achieving the ultimate balance, equity. Today is also commemorated as National Reliance Day in US. Celebrates a nut-based creamy confection that can be enjoyed in an assortment of ways. Pralines are a smooth and sweet treat made with nut, sugar, and sometimes cream. They can be used in cookies, candies, and as a paste. And they are often made with pecans or almonds. The name is believed to have inspired French sugar industrialist and French diplomat Caesar due to choice commute to places, Brasilin, who used a powder called pralin made by grinding sugar coated nuts. During the 17th century, Francis Marshall du President was responsible for the fame and name of the praline, but may believe that it was Chief Clement Lassagne who was the true creator. Today is also commemorated as Midsummer, which is celebrated on June 24th, and it's a day that is meant for all us to appreciate all gifts and nature gives us. The summer solstice marks the longest day of the year and lands on June 21st. Just because the older Julian calendar marked it differently, the date Midsummer Day remains January 24th. The holiday originates from Sweden, but it is Midsummer started as pagan ritual for fertility and a successful harvest. During the Stone Age, the pagans believed that the plants had healing properties during the summer solstice, and they honored the day showing reverence to nature with rituals. They danced around many pools, fashioned garments for the study in They danced around maybe fashion games and herbs were picked up on Midsummer's Eve and bonfires were used to keep. Anyway, Today is also commemorated as International Fairy Day in US. This idea behind this day is to appreciate and uplift the celebration of mythical creatures such as fairies and to use their tales to teach valuable lessons to their children. The concept of having a utopia where there are fairies and mythical creatures and that can happen drives the children to the things that were considered. Fairies are mythical creatures that are said to possess magical powers, generally considered to be female. Fairies have been a significant part of the Renaissance period in Europe, having offered origin stories from different countries, parts of the world. There are different versions hailing from different places to describe the existence of fairness. Some call them the children. Fairies are magical beings known for their playful and mischievous nature. Girls love fairies. They are known to possess a specific liking for magical stuff. Organize an art competition to allow these young girls to use their imagination to draw a fairy, give the winner a decent prize. Or you can organize quiz or any type of such contest which help make them look like real life fairies today by dressing them up. When sending them to school, give them a glittery, shiny dresses and bands and see the joy in their eyes. Not all fairies have wings. Fairies originally had no wings, and it was only during the Middle Ages that people started giving them wings. Although nymphs are not fairies, there are close similarities between a nymph and a fairy. They are not the same. If anyone complains why they have to work, tell them even fairies have jobs. The tooth fairy has to collect teeth in exchange for money. Fairies are known to be fun, playful, and mischievous. Of course, these are all stories that the Western cultures have created, like fairy tales, though they do not exist. Like every religion has its own kind of thing. Even in religions like Christianity and Islam also have their own fairy tales, which they believe true. Depends on each religion, their beliefs, which are not real, but they also think that they exist in different forms. And real in the sense they do not exist like humans. They are mystical creatures. So today is also commemorated as Farmers' Day in Peru, also known as Farmers' Day, or they call it as Dia del Campesino, is celebrated in Peru on June 24th every year as a tribute to the hard-working local farmers. Just provide food to the table of every Peruvian. Observers celebrate this day by holding agriculture fairs, cultural displays, and of course, the sharing of food of the Amazonian region. Farmers' Day is also celebrated in tandem with the feast of San Juan Bautista or St. John the Baptist Day as a nod to the Catholic tradition that was instilled by Spanish missionaries. Farmers' Day was first established in Peru in 1930 under the name del Indio, Day of the Indian, by the President Augusto B. Lengua to honor Peru's indigenous people. As a whole, the day remained Dia del Campesino, Day of the Farmer, by Dictator General Juan Velasco Alvarado in 1969. As a bonus, General Alvarado also enacted the Agrarian Reform Law, which helped diversify the country's land ownership and end forced indigenous labor. Currently, agriculture in Peru only makes up around 13% of the country's gross domestic product, yet almost a third of the population is employed in agriculture sector. There are currently 2.2 million small and medium-sized farms in the country. Peru's agriculture production is extremely diversified. The South American Andes region was one of the most prolific places for plant domestication throughout the Neolithic period. To fill their bountiful terrain, the ancient Andrians cultivated and employed about 120 different plant species, which was almost 10 times more than any other ancient civilizations, such as China and Egypt. As a result, Peru and neighboring Andean region are noted for their incredible agriculture diversity. It is, for example, one of the world's greatest producers of artichokes, as well as rice, bananas, grapes, sugarcane, maize, cassava, asparagus, avocado, blueberries, potatoes, pineapples, coffee, and cocoa are among the country's main agricultural exports. Peru's vital position in the global food supply chain system is highlighted by the diversity of its output. Thus, Dia del Campesino is important as its formal appreciation of Peruvian farmers and agriculture workers and their efforts to preserve the land's biodiversity and support of the economy. Today is also commemorated as Armed Forces Day in UK on June 24 for the country's sovereignty and its interest. Every year, noteworthy and outstanding parades and marches are organized at the country's landmark. Even though Armed Forces Day is an official event, it is not a public holiday, as business and offices remain open. One of the goals of this day is to recognize the services and sacrifices of the country's forces, the soldiers and cadets trained day in and day out to protect the citizens of their country from all sorts of dangers. Their efforts are lauded by everyone, including politicians and celebrities. Another aim of the day is to raise funds for those injured in the line of duty. Armed Forces Day in the UK initially started as Veterans Day in 2006. Veterans Day was considered an extension of Veterans Awareness Week. This first Veterans Day was a series of events that were started at the Imperial War Museum, which was founded in London in 1917 to recognize the British Empire's efforts during World War I. The day was commemorated by James Gordon Brown, who served as a Vice Chancellor of Exchequer, the Prime Minister and the leader of Labour Party from 2007 to 2010. Veterans Day celebrates the living veterans and their families. It was later on in 2009, the name of the Veterans Day was changed to Armed Forces Day as a way of recognizing and rewarding all branches of forces. Some of the celebrations include military parades and stage performance. In 2010, the main events were held in Cardiff, a military parade which was led by the Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, and the Duchess of Cornwall. Princess Camilla covered the area from Cardiff Castle to Cardiff Bay. Cardiff's waterfront also had many other performances, which included the land, sea, and air as stages. Every year, the main events are hosted by a different city, but the armed forces message remains the same. They reiterate their pledge to protect the UK and all of its dependent territories. This week is also commemorated as Rabbit Week from June 24th to July 1st in UK. This week-long event was established to raise awareness about rabbits, sometimes considered forgotten pets. It is an annual event aiming to educate rabbit owners to how to properly look after them. Over the years, Burgess Pet Care has tried to raise awareness about nutrition, healthcare, and daily care to ensure that the bunny population in the UK can be better cared for. There are currently over 300 breeds of rabbits on the planet. All of them have descended from the European rabbit. Recent evidence has found that the earliest rabbits originated in Spain and France. Historians assume that early humans in regions hunted rabbits for food. Still, the first ever written record of rabbits comes from ancient Rome when people kept them in cabinets and enclosures. The practice of keeping rabbits as pets date back to Victorian England, as evidenced by the selective breeding of rabbits. For variations including size, shape, color, and hair length and texture, other pieces of evidence were rabbit shows and the British Rabbit Council (BRC) during the 1920s. The former notably led to an increase in the popularity of rabbits as pets due to selective breeding in the past and the resulting impact on the health of the rabbit population. The BRC encourages research to better understand the diseases that affect rabbits as well as the solid welfare and husbandry. Today, rabbits are the third most popular pet after cats and dogs. Unfortunately, due to lack of awareness about how to properly care for pet rabbits, they are sometimes abandoned by their owners. Their owners often don't spend enough time with their rabbits, misunderstand their needs, and misconstrue them like toys instead of living beings. The first evidence of the European rabbit is found in Spain, and most of the rabbits like to cuddle, love to be cuddled and stroked when approached in right way. Rabbits do bite, but they usually do not bite. But if one does for grabbing or surprising, it doesn't mean it hates you. Rabbits don't menstruate, they are induced ovulators. This means they can get pregnant at any time. So, if you are a rabbit owner, brush up on how to properly care for your pet and attend a webinar or a seminar on rabbit care about pet care. Attend one and discover valuable insights. The point of Rabbit Awareness Week is to spread awareness, help the cause by talking about it online and offline. A female rabbit is called the doe, a male rabbit is called a buck. Rabbits have an average lifespan of 5 to 10 years. Unlike depicted in pop culture, carrots aren't a part of rabbits' diet. Baby rabbits are called kittens. So, Rabbit Awareness Week aims to raise awareness about proper care for rabbits, considering how misunderstood rabbits are. It's quite an important mission. Rabbit Awareness Week is a reminder for pet owners to update their knowledge about pet care, and nothing is more important. Rabbit Awareness Week is a good reminder that commonly held beliefs are not necessarily correct, and it's a good cue to reassess if the prevailing norm is what is right. This week is also commemorated as National Pollinator Week from June 24 to 30. In US, and all over the world the last week in June. The event was started in support of pollinator health. Pollinators are insects and small animals like birds, butterflies, and bees that pollinates plants and make our gardens and world greener. We have recently commemorated the Pollinators Day also, the bee also, World Bee Day, World Honeybee Day. All these are pollinators, and the World Biodiversity Day. All these days we have still learned about these pollinators and different pollinators, right? So during this week, nature lovers and conscious citizens come together to celebrate pollinators and raise awareness about different ways in which they can be protected. In recent years, social media has been a great way to disperse information about National Pollinator Week and draw in many volunteers internationally. National Pollinator Week was started and is managed by the Pollinator Partnership. The first National Pollinator Week was observed in 2017 in America after the Senate's unanimous approval that acknowledged the week as a necessary step in taking cognizance of the urgent issue of declining pollinator populations. Unfortunately, around 40% of invertebrate pollinator species, especially bees and butterflies, face the danger of going extinct. Rising temperatures, scarcity of habitats, and increased human activities threaten the existence of these friendly animals. Today, the week is observed as an international celebration to protect the ecosystems that sustain pollinators like bees, birds, butterflies, bats, and beetles. Pollinator Partnership conducts different programs for children, teens, and adults every year. These programs aim to get people across the planet to pledge their support to the cause and continue promoting pollinator health and well-being. The organizer conducts a number of gatherings, webinars, planting sessions, garden and farm walks, and lighting of monuments throughout the week-long celebration. So the best plants for pollinators are borage, butterfly bush, and coneflowers. So to attract a pollinator to your garden, it is best to choose native plants to attract pollinators. The black and white ruffed lemur is the largest pollinator in the world. So let the birds know that you are welcome to pollinate in your garden by building a birdhouse for them. Keep it well stocked with seeds and water, the foundation of genetics. Pollinators like bees and butterflies are attracted to specific types of flowers and fruits. Find out what they are and plant them in your garden to welcome more visits by pollinators. You can participate in or host a nature walk to have a close look at how pollinators make surroundings more colorful. This is also a fun way to celebrate National Pollinator Week with children. And in fact, bees actually have 5 eyes, more than 2 eyes, and the queen bee lives long. The queen bee has an average lifespan of 5 years. And honey is the only source of the antioxidant pinosymbin, and honey is special. Bees have been around forever, and bees have existed for around 30 million years. And only female bees have stingers, not all bees sting. So it celebrates nature. National Pollinator Week is all about creating the greenery around us and animals that make gardening easy. It encourages us to be grateful for the gifts of nature. Since National Pollinator Week raises awareness of the dwindling population of the invertebrate pollinators, the week also makes us hopeful for a future where these creatures will no longer be endangered. These weeks make us realize how even the smallest animal can make a huge impact in keeping our world happy and healthy. It's a week to be kind towards animals that make our lives easier. And in fact, bees, the honey is special. Honey is the only source of antioxidant, pinosembrin. So it celebrates nature, it takes charge of the future, and it makes us kind. So with this, we shall end the commemorations of the day. And as we have mentioned, that from today onwards, we will be also practicing every day yoga or meditation or offering a prayer for establishing and promoting global peace of harmony. So we request everyone today we'll just observe a silence and pray to Almighty. Whichever belief system you are into, whichever religion into, doesn't matter. But just pray. If you believe in God, fine. If you don't believe in God, also fine. But pray that all the people, wish all the people to stay in peace and harmony and coexist with each other without any conflict and without any, uh, you know, violence, hatred against each other. So, with all our good, kind hearts, let's observe a 1 minute of silence and 1 minute of meditation. From today, let's begin with this. And like we'll take every day one asana, or we will listen to one chant, or we will pray in a different, we'll take up something. No, every day we'll be doing. So today we'll start with 1 minute prayer or silence for everyone across the world, so that the uh, you know the peace and harmony prevails all over. So the time starts now. Om Shanti. So like this, we will take up every day some 5 to 15 minutes. Every day we will dedicate and we'll pray for the global peace and harmony and for sustainable development and sustainability of planet. So with this, we shall conclude today's sessions. We'll take any one daily, like one yogasana, one pranayama, or one relaxation technique, one prayer, or one mantra, one bhajan, or a silence, a meditative state, any kind of meditation, or even observation of silence and praying to God. All together, let's our prayers together, our prayers get fulfilled with the grace and blessings of Almighty. So thank you everyone for joining us. Before leaving, we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form. And we request everyone to fill up the feedback form for 3 days yoga conference. So yesterday we have opened the feedback form and we have instructed everyone to fill up the feedback form within 24 hours. So today immediately we request everyone to fill up the feedback form and complete it by tonight so that tomorrow we can start processing the data and within a day or two, we can update the certificates on website. So we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form for today's session, as well as those who have not completed can fill up the feedback form of yesterday's 3 days conference. If your friends also have attended, kindly inform them to complete all the formalities so that they will be able to get their certificates. So the feedback form is active in the form of polls. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form before you leave the platform. So see you all tomorrow at the same time at 6 o'clock. Take care. Good night.